Oh, oops. I named this wrong. Okay, guess it's too late to fix it. I needed to put a part 1 on this because this won't be the whole thing. Anyway, we're getting ready to start recording. So. Go, 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 bing. We're actually going to wait, not start, because the dog is barking now. Wait for him to stop. Usually the post-processing gets rid of most of that, but we're going to wait anyway. Don't know what he's on about. I'm looking at our cameras and there's nobody like out front or anything. That sounded like he might be settling. Okay. Let's play the intro again. Should I goobly glue blue 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 again? Ah, there he goes. I spilled something on my shirt while eating. That's lovely. Okay, let's go. Ah. Dog started barking again. Oh, wait. Of course he stopped. Hi. What you barking at? I'm waiting for you to finish so I can record. Alex is in here. Okay. Here we go again. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner for Saturday, May 30th, 2026. It is just after 2030 UTC. I am Sam Minter, and we have no Yvonne Bowe. We have nobody else. Last week, Yvonne mentioned at the end of the show that he wouldn't be on this weekend, or this weekend, whatever. It is a weekend. And I actually sent out the message asking for co-host right after I published last week's show, but I got no responses. I feel so sad. I feel so neglected. I feel so alone. It is awful. Now, I didn't go out beyond that one email to solicit anybody or anything like that, but you know, it is what it is. So we're doing another solo show, and you guys know how that works. I'm going to do this first segment. I am going to do a movie and a book. And then we'll take a break. And when I take a break, I'll take a break. A break for like many, many hours. And then I will try to do at least one actual newsy thing. Like the last few times I've done solo shows, I've kind of like skimped a lot on actual news, and I will probably skimp a little bit on it too, absent any really big breaking news that happens. But I'll do at least a little bit. But yeah, I have some other non-newsy stuff to talk about. We'll see. You know, I don't know. It depends how I feel. It depends how I feel when I get to those segments. I've got a list. I've got some stuff to talk about. You know, so there you go. There you go. What else? Any preliminaries before I jump into movies and book? Well, movie and book. I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, nothing you guys haven't heard before. It's a thing. Stuff is going on. I could do a Robin letter promo, but you've all heard that many times before. Most of you actual listeners are already participating. So, anyway, movie number one. I previewed this last week, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And I'm not going to talk a long time about it, because believe it or not, I'm sure you believe it. We have talked about this movie multiple times on this podcast. Most of the times Yvonne has been there too. He has raved about how Star Trek II is, you know, classic. He likes it. I like it. Blah, blah, blah. He does the Khan thing. He does it better than I do. You know, it is widely considered the best of the Star Trek movies. Ricardo Montalban eats it up. So does William Shatner. It is like, you know, they both like are at their sort of peak about being sort of melodramatic, over the top characters. You got the introduction of the Kobayashi Maru. You've got some nice little naval battles in space. You know, and yeah, I will do my usual beginning of the plot from Wikipedia, but I mean, come on. If you're listening to this, you know Star Trek 2, right? Like, right? Anyway, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, I'd say the whole thing. In 2285, Admiral James T. Kirk oversees a simulator session of Captain Spock's trainees. In the simulation, Lieutenant Savick commands the starship USS Enterprise on a rescue mission to save the crew of the damaged ship Kobayashi Maru. but it is attacked by Klingon cruisers and critically damaged. The simulation is a no-win scenario designed to test the character of Starfleet officers. Later, Dr. Leonard McCoy visits Kirk on his birthday. Seeing Kirk in low spirits due to his age, the Doctor advises Kirk to get a new command instead of growing old behind a desk. Meanwhile, the starship Reliant is on a mission to search for a lifeless planet to test the Genesis device, a technology designed to reorganize dead matter into habitable worlds. Reliant's Captain Clark Terrell and First Officer Commander Pavel Chekhov beam down to evaluate a planet they mistakenly believe to be Ceti Alpha. Got dog barking. Pause. Okay, we will continue. Meanwhile, the starship Reliant is on a mission to search for a lifeless planet to test the Genesis device, a technology designed to reorganize dead matter into habitable worlds. Reliant's Captain Clark Terrell and First Officer Commander Pavel Chekhov beam down to evaluate a planet they mistakenly believe to be Ceti Alpha 6. Once there, they are captured by the genetically engineered tyrant Khan Noonien Singh, who explain... Dog again. We'll wait slightly longer this time. Okay. Once there, they are captured by the genetically engineered tyrant Khan Noonien Singh, who explains that they are on Ceti Alpha 5. 15 years prior, Kirk exiled Khan and his followers there after they attempted to take over Enterprise. 6 months later, Ceti Alpha 6 exploded, shifting the orbit of Ceti Alpha 5 and turning it into a desert wasteland. The catastrophe killed many of Khan's followers, while others, including his wife, were killed by native parasitic Ceti eels. One more paragraph. Khan implants Chekhov and Terrell with eel larvae, rendering them susceptible to mind control, and uses the pair to capture Reliant. While Khan's lieutenant, Joachim, suggests abandoning his quest for revenge, Khan insists on killing Kirk. Learning the Genesis device, Khan attacks Space Station Regula 1, where the device was being developed by Kirk's former lover, Dr. Carol Marcus, and their son, David. ... Continues. Classic battles. Classic ending involving Spock. You guys all know, but I won't give the spoiler anyway in terms of what happens to Spock. But, yes. It's still the most rewatchable Star Trek, I think, of all of them. And, Alex and I are going through the whole Star Trek franchise very, very, very slowly. We're in the midst of the movies right now. We've actually already watched Star Trek 3. I won't preview anything about that now. We haven't done 4 yet. 4 is also good. For a long time, there was this whole meme that the even-numbered Star Trek movies were the good ones, and the odd-numbered ones were bad. And you know, uh, there's something to that for sure. But um, I'm not sure good or bad. But the even numbered ones at the beginning were better, for sure. I don't know that that holds up all the way to the present day, but it's a fine little thing. Anyway, um, yes. So, Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. If Yvonne was here, I'm sure we would reminisce a little bit more about it. But I think it is time to move on to the book, which is The Westing Game. Now, this, and I should have brought this up beforehand, but I'm going to bring up my the dates that I actually read this and stuff, because this is one that I read with Alex. It was assigned to him in school. And so we started reading it in March of 2021. And we got to a certain point in it and then abandoned it. Like, I think whatever time they were reading it in school ran out, and so I stopped. But we restarted it in 2024 because I was like, even though they talked about this in class and presumably went through the end of the book, etc., blah, 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 I never got the end of the book. So I personally wanted to know what happened. Like, even if Alex read more of it himself, I don't know if he did or not, or what. Dog again. Hold on. Not barking this time. This time making all kinds of noise. Going through stuff. You done, jet ski? Okay. Because I didn't get the end. He may have read it without me. I don't think he did, but they probably talked about it in class. He's hitting me. Did you read it without me? He's not telling me. Anyway, either way, I did not ever find out how the book ended. So I wanted to restart it. And so in October 2024, we restarted it. It took us 276 days to read it. So we ended in July 2025. That's 0.7 pages per day on average. I'll mention again, like I always do, this is not, we were reading on a continuous basis. It was once every, this time I stopped because of Alex. I'll mention this again. I whenever we talk books, I mention this. Alex and I are reading together, but it's not like continuous. That 0.7 pages per day is not like we're reading every day. It's like once every couple weeks we read for half an hour. So you have to like multiply by 14 or whatever. So it's probably more like, what's 0.7 times 14? Can it? I'm bringing up a calculator. 0.7 times 14. So it's probably about 10 pages. Dude, stop. Okay, again. And we have barking. You prepared to be quiet? Unless you want to actually like speak and provide your opinion of the Westing Game. So that's about 10 pages every time we actually sit down to read it for half an hour. That's not too bad, I guess, because I'm reading it out loud. Anyway, so we finished it. So, Westing Game, what is this book? Oh, I didn't actually say the words. Thumbs up on Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Big thumbs up. Anyway, the book. It is a mystery book by Ellen Raskin, published in 1978. It won a Newbery Medal. It's made for kids. It's a kids' literature book. Um, let's see, it was ranked number 9 all time among children's novels in a survey in 2012 by the School Library Journal. There is apparently a movie adaptation of it called Get a Clue that came out in 1997. We have not seen that. The initial 2-paragraph summary. On the 4th of July, 16 strangers received personal invitations to rent apartments in the new Sunset Towers apartment complex, a luxurious property on Lake Michigan, adjacent to wealthy businessman Samuel W. Westing's mansion. Westing made his fortune in the paper business and is rumored to be worth $200 million, worth $1.5 billion in 2024. The salesman, Barney Northrup, gives personalized attention to each potential resident, all of whom accept. In October, residents begin to hear rumors that Samuel Westing has died, but that his corpse remains in the mansion. Tabitha Ruth Turtle Wexler, a highly intelligent 13-year-old with a habit of kicking people in the shin if they touch her braid, accepts a dare to enter the presumably empty mansion. She leaves the mansion in terror after finding Westing's body in the bedroom and hearing strange noises, which no one believes. Shortly after, news breaks of Westing's death, and all the residents are invited to a reading of the will. The will claims that Westing was murdered by one of them, but that each is still a named potential heir to his fortune and company. It stipulates that they must work in pairs to solve Westing's puzzle and locate his murderer. So he leaves all kinds of clues, he leaves a puzzle, and the rest of the book is them trying to solve this puzzle. Dog again. Stop that. Wait, that wasn't you? Okay. Let's assume he stopped again for a moment. So then the rest of the book is them in their paired off states trying to solve the little puzzle that Westing had left them. He left all kinds of different clues, and the people interacted with each other, and they get suspicious of each other because supposedly one of them's the murderer, and things happen. There's like explosions that happen. There's other. Anyway, it continues, and they get to the end. And of course, the mystery is eventually revealed to the reader. And my wife once mentioned during the first time we were reading this that she got bored early because she figured out the answer like in the first couple chapters or whatever. I don't know if she ever read the end to know if she was correct or not. I never asked her. Um, I'll say I was a little slower than that to figure out what was going on. I think I did pick it up before the final reveal. But yeah, no. I did not pick it up in the first couple chapters, I must admit. When you get to the end, you're like, oh, of course, obviously, that's how it was gonna come together. Um, it was fine. It was okay. I mean, it clearly is aimed at kids. Or I say kids, you know, up through maybe very early teens. You know, like I guess the primary demographic would be immediately preteen, like 11 and 12-year-old kind of age target. It was fine though. It was fine. I'm gonna give it slightly above a thumb sideways. I don't think you would go reading this on your own as an adult and you know think, oh, I'm so glad that I got so much out of this, um, because where it's targeted is fairly clear, and it's sort of at that reading level and at that level of complexity, etc. Um, but if you've got kids in that age range, they might like it. If they like sort of as sort of an intro to a mystery genre kind of thing, you could read it with them too and sort of help puzzle through you know, as they're introducing puzzle elements, talk to them about it and think through like, well, what does this mean? What could that mean? Blah, 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 blah. And it could be fun that way, but just slightly over thumb sideways, I'd say. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. What's next? The next two movies to talk about are going to be Under Siege 2 from 1995, which, yeah, we'll talk about that. And then the 2025 version of Superman. Now, we did have like a special episode where we had our listener Pete join us just to talk about Superman 2025 once Yvonne and I and Pete had all seen it. So we have talked about that before. This will be an abbreviated version of it. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's it. So I'm going to take a break and then come back with other stuff. I said there will be newsy stuff. There's stuff about Iran. Trump lost a lot of court cases. Um, a Blue Origin rocket blew up. I also, though, want to talk a little bit about dumb get rich quick schemes. And well, I'll talk about it after the break, but not just dumb, but also sort of morally repugnant get rich quick schemes. I guess most of them probably are. I mean, the whole notion of get rich quick is you're somehow taking advantage in one way or another. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about all that. There's a couple that particularly like came across my TikTok for you feed, which has been you know pumping get rich quick schemes at me lately for probably obvious reasons, um, and but most of them are really no good. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. For now, we're going to do a break, and this is an Apple Dream. It is, however, an Apple Dream that has been featured at least once before on the show, like almost a year ago, I think. I pick these randomly of all the published Apple Dreams, so sometimes there will be repeats, and there is today. So here comes Apple Dream 50. This the, this is a bad one, so I'll be short. The main part of it is we were all living, meaning my current family and my daughter, my son, my wife, at the house that my family rented when I was like a preteen, in Durham, North Carolina. And anyway, the long and short of it comes down to I was going upstairs for something. I heard Amy yell at Alex something about watching Miley or something like that, watching Miley go out. And a few minutes later, I was coming back down, and Amy was doing something like preparing to move. Like she was moving her stuff to a moving truck or something. And anyway, Mom yells from the other room or something. I'm starting to lose details. The important part is there. But anyway, it's discovered that the front door is wide open. And Amy thought someone else closed it. And anyway, Miley had gotten out. So people start looking for Miley. And I look out the window in the front of the house, and I see right by the door near where the truck was that we were packing Amy's stuff into, but it wasn't that. It was like the truck was there in my head, but it wasn't actually there. There was a curb, and then there was a spot. Anyway, there was clearly a flat thing there that used to be Miley. And she had just been squashed, like cartoon style squashed, like, when in a cartoon, a steamroller runs over somebody and they're made flat. But there were still enough details that you could see it was Miley. Anyway, I was very, very upset. I yelled at Amy, and that she, the door shouldn't have been open, and I'm like, you killed Miley. And of course, like, it was an innocent mistake. Nobody meant to kill Miley, but she had obviously gotten run over, and I was really upset. And my Amy and me and Alex and Mom were all running to where Miley was. Then I woke up. And I went straight out of bed and looked and found Miley and made sure she was okay. Miley's fine. Miley's a great dog. Miley's an old dog, but Miley's a great dog, and she's not flat. Love you, Miley. Bye. Okay, well, that's that. I'm going to take that break that I mentioned. Only folks here on the live stream or watching the live stream will even know. Well, I mean, other people will know too, but this little bit that I'm recording right now will not be in the audio version that gets published. It'll only be on the live stream version. Anyway, bye, folks. Have a good rest of the weekend. I'm not sure what time I'll be back to record more. Could be tonight. More likely it'll be tomorrow morning. We'll see. Anyway, bye, folks.